Any question?
No, sir.
Okay. Next question, 25. If you begin a letter with "Dear Sir," you should sign the letter with what? Yours sincerely, faithfully, truly, gratefully, what?
Yours faithfully, sir.
Yours faithfully, if you are starting it with the "Dear Sir." And how about yours sincerely? When we should use that?
When the name is mentioned.
Name is mentioned. And how about truly and gratefully?
These are in informal letter writing.
Very good. When we are writing some personal letters or informal communication, then at the end we are using truly and gratefully. Clear with this thing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. After that, memo. Memo is a piece of paper. We are going to write down some information on that piece of paper, and then we are going to communicate it. Again, memos, we are using it for internal communication. Especially if I want to communicate some information to my manager or to my maybe junior, then this will be a good idea to use memo. And obviously, memos mostly inside the organization, they are using it for formal as well as for informal, both sort of communication. But memos, obviously, inside the organization, it depends that what they have decided, whether memo will be considered as a formal or informal. So it depends. Like if manager is writing a memo to a director, that needs to be a formal one. But if I'm writing some memo or a manager is writing some memo to a junior, so it can be a bit informal as well. Again, memo will be using when we need some sort of written communication internally inside the organization. Memos can never be used for external communication. Clear with this thing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, emails. Emails have their own advantages and disadvantages. Again, emails is an electronic way to communicate your information. Advantages, speed. Just you are going to write it, you are going to write the email ID and you are going to press the button, and within seconds, you will be able to communicate that information. Economy, it's cheaper because no paper is involved, obviously, and there is no physical movement is involved. Electronically, you are sending the information, so it will be cheaper way to communicate that information. Much more efficient. Now, emails basically on letter, you can only write down the text, but emails provide you much more variety of options. You can write text there, you can write tables, you can use hyperlinks, you can put website links, you can put pictures, you can put tables, so many different options are there. So communicating information through email can be much more efficient as compared to a memo or a letter. Then security. Obviously, emails are much more secure because letters are in hard form. Anybody can, if somebody will going to forget that letter on a table, so maybe anyone can else read it. But for emails, every user has their own email ID and password, and no one else can access those emails. So these are more secure to communicate the information. So if we have to communicate some confidential information, so emails will be a better option for that. Word processing, you can process words, text, pictures, even video clips you can put into the email. So again, word processing is easy, plus other options are also available. And word processing is even better, that you can change the font if you want, text size, line spacing, so you can change those things as well. And delivery and read receipts, that read receipts, basically delivery and read receipts mean that when I'm going to send an email and when my receiver will read that receipt, so maybe I will get a notification as well. So these are also possible. For letter, these options are not available. Disadvantages, again, confidentiality is also a disadvantage as well. Why? Because again, emails are secure, but still they have their own limitation as well. Risk of hacking or risk of virus is still there. Or maybe if somebody will going to hack the email, so maybe he will get access to all the business secrets or confidential information. Unnecessary recipients. Maybe sometime when people are sending emails, they are sending it to unnecessary recipients as well, which we called spam email. So spam is a common problem with the email as well. After that, substitute to other channels. Now, email, sometimes, like for example, if we have some legal requirement to present some hard copy, so obviously email cannot be a substitute to that. So in that case, for legal communication, most of the time we need some legal documents, and that we cannot process through email. We cannot communicate through email. We physically need to present it in hard copy. So that is also a limitation here. So email have lots of advantages and a few disadvantages as well. Clear with this thing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here is question 26. Two statements follow about the use of email as a form of communication. So email, there are two statements are there. Which of the following is correct with regard to the above statement?
Statement 1 is true, but 2 is false. C.
Yeah. C. Number 1 is email can be used for confidential information. Yes, that's true. Still, risk of hacking is there. But as we are communicating information electronically, so it's much more safer than hard copies. And second, email should not be used where a signature is necessary. That's not true, because email does have electronic signatures and we can use those. So those are also acceptable. So obviously this is false. So statement 1 is true, but statement 2 is false. Yes, C is the correct one. Clear with this thing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. After that, reports. Now, reports are usually of two types. First is standard report and second is ad hoc report. Standard reports are such reports that we are supposed to produce on a frequent basis, right? For example, financial statements. We know that financial statements are financial reports, and these we have to produce at the end of each year, and once in a year. And every year we have to produce and communicate it to our external stakeholder. This is what a standard report. Then some companies have a policy that every quarter end they need to produce sales report, for example. Some companies have a policy to produce cost reports every month. So such kind of report are basically what are standard reports. Then ad hoc reports are such reports that we are not producing it again and again or over the time or on a frequent basis, but this or such kind of report will only be, we are only going to generate it if it will be requested by a manager in some specific situation. Recently we had a COVID, for example. So if a manager want to see the impact of COVID over the organization, so maybe he requests a report. And this report will be special to a situation, and this will not, maybe after 5 years or every year, we will not be making this report. So ad hoc reports are such reports, those are special in their circumstances and will only be asked in some special situations. Every year or frequently, we will never going to produce these reports. So clear with the difference between standard reports and ad hoc reports?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then elements of the reports, again, we are using reports for a formal communication, and especially if we are communicating some technical or complex information, so we can use the reports. And if we are reporting some information to the seniors, so yes, we can use. Now, what report should include? This is the minimum criteria. It can be more than that as well. First of all, title, or you can say topic of the report. What is the purpose of writing this report, or the name of the report, first of all. Second, terms of reference. Terms of reference mean that receiver and the one who is creating the report, they both will going to sit together and they will going to decide that, okay, what information I'm looking for and what information we need to present in the report. So basically they will going to write down all the reasons that who asked to produce this report, what is the purpose of making this report, what things we are considering here, So all these will come under the terms of reference of the report. Then introduction, about whatever is the title. Based on the title, then we need to give introduction and a brief introduction. Introduction should not be very much long. It should be brief. So just give a idea to a user as per the terms of reference, what this report is all about. Then main body. In the main body, then if there are some hypotheses or anything else or any analysis we are conducting, so everything we will going to present in the main body. After that, conclusion and recommend. Conclusion means just to provide a summary of the report. Then recommendations, that what are the outcomes of the report, that what we need to communicate here. Of course, the signature, the one who is creating the report, he will going to sign it. And last but not the least, this is the most important one, the executive summary. See, one report, a formal report can be of 500 pages. And if we are giving this report to the directors, maybe director will never be having this much time to read 500 pages report. So what we need to do at the end of the report, or maybe sometime even at the start of the report, we just add 1 or 2 pages of executive summary. So instead of reading 500 pages, director will going to read maybe in a page or 2, he will going to read everything about the report in that executive summary. So these are only targeted to the director. Then later on, still with executive summary, we still need to provide the report, because while reading the executive summary, if you want to see or verify some fact and figures, so he can open up the report and he can go to the relevant pages and he can verify the figures. So the purpose of executive summary is that this is for the directors and to save the time of the directors. Clear with the report?
Yes, sir.
Okay.